I don't think that's the right theme song. But we're going to work with it because we're short-staffed. So your meal may be a little late. We really apologize. The chef had an emergency at home. And so, do you like toast? I can make toast. I'm Louise Palenker, your lovely and captivating host, and this is Journals Out Loud. We're here. We have Matt Sigmund stuck at Premiere. We have Aaron stuck. I don't know. Where's Aaron stuck? Probably traffic. Yep. And so Sarah's sitting in on the booth. We've got Andrew, and we've got like a lot of really wonderful in-studio guests that you can't see because the camera's on me. Boring. But Sean is going to perform live tonight after Jilly and I talk about The Bachelor. First, I'd like to recommend. Really like to recommend everyone on the panel. We have Josh. We have Jabbar, KatieMichal. I like to recommend our trout. It's a special that we have this evening. Jilly's here. Tara's here, and you're
Luna.
Why can't I remember? Because Luna and I have really never had a meaningful conversation, so that's why I haven't learned her name.
Me and Luna had a meaningful conversation. I actually posted it today on Instagram. We were talking about apparently, like, Luna was playing fetch with this pit bull, right? And then this freaking Yorkie came up and started sniffing the pit bull's butt. And she was like, yo, Yorkie, like, that's my man. His name was Duke, and it was, like, a whole thing. We talked about it on Santa Monica, so, like, go look at it on Instagram. It's a real thing.
So where can they find your Instagram?
KatieMichal at Instagram or at KatieMichal Instagram. I don't know how to
internet.katiemichal.com.
Just look up KatieMichal, no E in the Michael, and you'll find it. It's
hilarious.
We talk. Me and Luna have a lot of conversations together.
Luna's it. She's it. She's rocking it. And then of course we have Sean, and Sean's going to perform. And so we're going to answer every question that you have about being a person on Earth. How do you human? How do you do it? Give us a call at 888-531-7171. We want to hear, how do you human? I forgot
how to human, guys.
There must be some sort of like tips and hints and cheats site for humaning that we could all
breathe in, breathe out.
Right.
Thank you.
Step 1.
But people that aren't maybe humaning the best are people that maybe sign up or audition to go on The Bachelor. What do you think of people that just say, "Oh, I know what I should do"?
I mean, I'm not against it. I think that
would you do it
for fun, like to be funny, yes, but not seriously. I don't think I would find my husband on The Bachelor.
How many people do you think are there for laughs?
But like, if we wanted to, I would.
All
just
right.
as an experiment.
All right.
You know.
So you would be friends with someone who was like, "Hey, last year I was on The Bachelor." You'd be like, "Huh? Tell me more. Let's do everything together." That would be a cool person.
I mean, it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
Okay. All right. So people might have various reasons. Like, what about actory people? Would you guys do The Bachelor?
No, I think that would ruin your, that would be just like doing a reality TV show. Like, all those people that do reality TV shows don't really become, like, serious actors. No offense to them. They have, like, awesome lives. But if you look at, like, Vanderpump Rules, all of those people are actors. Great show. I used to watch that show. They're all actors, but they've never actually become anything through that. So, no, I wouldn't do it as an actor to, like,
what are you trying to say? I mean, Bachelor Nick is on this season's Dancing with the Stars, so that was a career-making.
Yeah, but Dancing with the Stars is different from being in a movie where, like, you feel me, bro.
I get it. Yeah. All right, so Jilly, let's discuss because season finale, pretty thrilling. I know most of you guys, Jabbar, you were not at any Bachelor parties last night, were you? No. Okay, just checking. But Jilly, where did you watch?
I watched by myself because my friends were supposed to come over, but then they didn't. So I watched by myself, but it was okay. I fell asleep, actually, so then I had to rewatch a little bit of it this morning. Here are my overall feelings. Raven bothers me a lot. And I think that's sort of the problem with this whole situation because I said this last week, I don't really like either of them. So I kind of lost interest in watching because I don't care anymore, really, because I don't really like him. So to the Bachelor producers who I'm sure watching, make me like them more because here we are. And if I don't like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, whose season it is, then you're going to lose people because I just don't care anymore.
They know that reality TV is all about casting.
Right.
They know this.
Right. So
it's just that maybe what KatieMichal is saying is a thing that the actual actors or people with like really well-rounded, interesting, funny, maybe, like, could there be someone funny? Personalities do not try out for it because it's kind of
they're like attention seekers.
It goes on your permanent record. You've been on The Bachelor, yes.
Well, here's the thing. I do like Vanessa more than Raven.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert, that's who he ends
Right,
up with.
Vanessa. I mean,
you saw it
duh.
coming, right?
Right.
And so, yes, I'm glad that they ended up together versus Raven because, like, if you watched the last episode, you saw from the beginning that the conversations with Vanessa were way more substantial than the ones with Raven. So, on one hand, yes, I guess I'm happy that he ended up with her rather than the other one, but I'm just ready for the new season.
But did you watch After the Rose?
No.
There was
Drama?
substantial tension between Nick and Vanessa.
Because I don't think they like each other very much.
I don't think so either. I think he felt like for the show
he had to pick somebody.
But he picked someone who lives in a different country. So 2 months from now, it didn't work out. We had philosophical differences. So she's Canadian and I'm American and on with life. And now I'm on Dancing with the Stars and I'm fallen in love with the star who's dancing with me. Because I think the dancers are bigger stars than the stars this season. Don't you think so?
True story.
Yeah, true story. All right, so let's answer some questions from kids. And maybe we can do something in the world that is helpful.
More than The Bachelor?
I think The Bachelor is really helpful. You learn that you should really kind of trim the thorns off a rose before you give it. And other important life lessons, I feel like.
Like take naps whenever you feel necessary.
Oh, me.
From
let's not
Corinne.
even,
That's Corinne's motto. She was National Nap Day a couple days ago, and she did a whole PSA that was like, if you need to sleep, take that time for yourself.
If you don't think this is an OxyContin problem, then you are not really looking into it deeply enough. All right, Sean, would you please read the first question?
I don't have a piece of paper.
There you go.
All right.
Now you do.
Now I do. All right, the first question. I like this guy and I have 3 classes with him. The only time he talks to me is when I try or when he needs something. I know he doesn't like me and likes all the white girls. I'm Asian and I'm not cute like the other girls. I asked if we were friends and he said yes, but we don't say anything outside of school. What should I do? Get over him isn't the response I'm looking for.
Oh,
it's your confidence.
It's...
But
it is that. I feel like...
confidence.
All right, so I just want to tell you guys before I throw to you, whenever people tell me how to not answer the question, ignore that because sometimes people just have to hear what they have to hear. So,
but I don't even think that's what she needs to hear. I mean, I think you have to stop knocking yourself because if you think that you're not pretty, then other people are going to feed off that energy. That's my opinion.
Well, that's definitely true. You need your confidence booster needs to definitely get up there, like... don't think that don't do that to get the guy. I don't think this is the guy that you're looking for. I would say get over this guy, but definitely work on yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned he likes all the white girls, and I think that, like, don't compare yourself to a white girl because Asian girls are just as pretty in their own way. Yeah. Like, it's not a race thing. This is just he doesn't necessarily want an Asian girl. Or maybe he does, but you don't know that either. He said that he only talks to you when you try or need something. So this obviously probably isn't a person you want to be with.
Right. I think it's easy to kind of jump to whatever you are as being the wrong thing when there's a crush that seems to be responding to everything that you aren't. It's easy to jump to something like whatever color your hair is or your height or your weight or your race or what have you. But I don't think it's necessarily that. And I do think that if a guy is only talking to you when he needs something, that he's one of those guys that does that and he knows that you like him and then he's like, it's like that guy. There was a guy that sat behind me who only talked to me when he needed a pencil. And, he was on the football team and it was like, so I always came with extra pencils and, please, ladies, listen, I should have turned around and said, get your own flippin' pencil,
dude,
fullback or whatever he was. But anyway, I'm still friends with him today, but and we joke about it. But yeah, it's not your race and Asian girls are beautiful. So please don't go around thinking that that's what it is. 'Cause that just makes you hate white girls. And
yeah, and whatever works for like a white girl is not gonna like work for you. So don't wear their kind of makeup or do your hair in that kind of way. You know what I mean? Like I watch Facebook videos all the time about one of them was about this black girl saying like, why do we have to spend $300 on our hair to look like a white girl to get a job? And that shouldn't be like a thing. You know what I mean? So you have to embrace the way you look and the way, your face structure is and whatever, and do what works for that, not what works for somebody else.
Yeah, and it's really easy to boil down like what you think is wrong with yourself to not getting the attention that you want from a specific guy. And that's just the guy of the moment. I know you don't want to hear that because you don't want to hear get over him, but he really is the guy of the moment. And your self-image is not reflected off of how he is treating you in any given moment because he's one human on earth. And if you've checked, there's lots of them. Like, there's people everywhere. Yeah, and you're wonderful. So I know it's hard when
you're
you
probably
want.
dope.
You're probably the
Dopest,
best.
the
Like,
most.
you're our new bestie. I mean, Sean's going to play you a song, and it's going to be just for you.
It's dedicated to you, actually.
That's right. In fact, Sean, are you ready to get into position?
I'm super ready.
All right.
Woo!
So
Go Sean!
Yes.
I know we don't have the clip because Matt's not here, and he's like the master of the clips, but I had queued up your video. And Sean, if you go to YouTube and you look for Sean Lusk, you're going to find this kid. This kid is like... He is like the top of
Awesome.
the Sean Lusk Google search results. He is the very top.
Is there a lot of Sean Lusks out there?
No, pretty much it's you. So, all I'm saying. And
What
what happened?
No, I was just like,
Technical difficulties?
yeah, with myself. Skirt. Rewind. Back on track.
All right, Sean, I'm going to let you.
Are you guys ready?
Oh,
so
so
excited.
ready!
Super
ready.
excited.
Wait, which
So-
one are you singing?
Juliet. That's what the song's called.
I
It's
haven't heard that one.
it's the first one I ever wrote, and it's the last one I just recorded. So,
Dope.
Should be fun. All right, this song's called Juliet. Baby, you know, baby, I know, we're 1,000 worlds apart from each other. It's only getting harder. Baby, you know, baby, I know, we shouldn't wait so long to surrender. I love you forever, but I can't breathe with this hole in my chest. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I want to be with you, laughing again. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. We're lost in the dark. You've stolen my heart, but I don't know how to find the light. You're my sweetheart. We're falling apart, but I don't know how to make this right this time. Baby, you know, baby, I know, it's a vicious little world out there. It's okay to be scared. Baby, you know, baby, I know, it's hard for you to bear, but I still care. Yeah, I still care, but I can't breathe with this hole in my chest. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I want to be with you, laughing again. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. We're lost in the dark. You've stolen my heart, but I don't know how to find the light. You're my sweetheart. We're falling apart, but I don't know how to make this right this time. We're lost in the dark. You've stolen my heart, but I don't know how to find the light. You're my sweetheart. We're falling apart, but I don't know how to make this right this time. But I can't breathe with this all in my chest. I'm doing my best. I'm really doing my best.
Yeah! Yes!
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you
Yay.
so much.
You really really did your best. That was
I tried my best.
that was so good.
It was incredible.
Heck, so good.
I would
Yes.
totally load that song up and play that song over.
It's
and
gonna
over.
come out in the next like month
Yeah.
or two. I
You
just
really should
finished
get that
it.
checked out, though.
I
A
just
hole in your
finished
chest
it.
is really probably
Yeah,
like,
it
not
is.
good for you.
It's gnarly.
It's
Can't
Probably get that
It's almost
checked
like
out
I
by a
can't
doctor.
breathe.
I'm just saying.
Wow, that was great. I wish I could sing.
And your voice is so good.
Did it
Like,
sound good?
It
In
sounded
the head, I don't have
really-
headphones on,
Yeah,
no,
so
it
I
sounded
don't know how I
good.
sounded.
That sounded really well.
Fantastic.
Really good.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you guys so much.
Such
I'm
a
gonna
fan
switch
girl
back.
now.
Do you,
Switcheroo.
so Sean,
Switcherooski.
as you walk over, I'm gonna kind of
As
like
it's switching.
serve up a question
Look
for
at
you.
this.
Serve it up.
magic trick.
Do you write from experience, or what
Yes.
inspires your lyrics?
That's a good question.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I do write from experience. That song was actually written because the girl that I was
The girl left you just like the microphone. Aw.
the girl that I was dating at the time, her parents didn't like me and didn't like the things we were like doing, like hanging out all the time, and they actually sent her away to a boarding school in Utah in the middle of
you?
in the middle of our like honeymoon phase. Like we were deeply in love, and then she got sent away like that in the middle of the
Wait,
night.
wait. Deeply in love.
I mean, I
How
was
old
like,
are you
I was-
again?
Okay. I wasn't deeply in love. As much love as you can get when you're 13 years old.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. For sure. I had never
Ah.
experienced that.
So she got
Not love,
She
but
got-
we
I
were,
was
you know,
alone until 18.
you know how you know how you feel like you're in love when you're 13. You know what I mean? Like
No.
you
I
you
never
didn't feel
felt
anything.
that.
So they sent her to rehab to get
Not a rehab. It was like
get
it was
over
an
it.
all girls
School?
boarding
She was
school.
like addicted
An
to
all-girls boarding
they
school.
sent
her So she didn't-
Basically,
Sean.
yeah, a rehab to get over boys.
Yes.
Pretty much. They didn't want her dating boys. And
off to a nunnery with you. No boys. Well,
Skirt,
that's
skirt.
beautiful. All right, so I mean, Andrew can help you with that, but
it's good. I
if
think
you,
I got
if you
it.
can tech your own mic, you're on your way in show
I
business.
think I
I'll
got it.
tell
I
you
just
that
don't know
right
how to tighten it.
I know there's a way.
To the
There's a
right.
way.
Get it right.
Get it
Get
right.
it right.
I
Get
think
it
I got
tight.
it.
Get it right.
All right,
right.
Jilly, would you read the next question from
Yeah,
an
but
interested?
maybe you should have somebody on this couch.
Thank you.
Oh no, we're good.
Oh.
Never mind.
Skirt,
I can do it. I can do it.
Got it.
Okay, my friend Ava has started including me in her friend group and added me in their group chat on Snapchat. That's when you know it's real. Where we just send pics of ourselves. But they all have a group chat without me that they use to talk and make plans. I texted Ava and asked why I wasn't in it and if I was doing something wrong, and she said no, not at all. That group chat was made a while ago. We talk in Snapchat. We talk in the Snapchat one, but whenever I hang out with the group, I see the group chat on their phone, so I know they use it often. They all have said that I'm a good friend, but I just feel hurt that they don't want to add me to their main chat.
Ouch.
I feel like this was something that we've talked about before. Like very,
Similar.
It was.
very
Very
similar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What did we say?
You can't
Yeah.
force it. I
Yeah.
I think it was probably
forgot.
like 2 or 3 episodes ago. But you can't force something like that. Just like if you're a new friend and it's a girls are very very cliquey, so it's definitely gonna take a second to like let you in.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a really sketchy
Don't
tread
push too
tread
much.
tread carefully, or then they're gonna be like, God, like why is she all up in my business?
I think for grown-ups to understand this, you have to put it in terms of book clubs. So, a book
Really?
club is like its own ecosystem, right?
Really?
No, see,
I don't
'cause-
see the correlation there.
so all right, let me explain it. Grown-ups will meet each other in real life and sit in a living
Discuss
room.
books?
Yeah, and well, no, we don't actually read the book, but
Just fake it.
But if you ask like, "Oh, I like everybody here. Can I join your book club?" They might be like, "Ugh."
Right.
Because it's like a sorority. Like everyone has to like check off on the person because it's going to change the vibe. Like adding one person changes the vibe. So like what KatieMichal was saying, it's like the more you push, the less likely they are going to be to want to change the vibe for you.
If you weren't in that OG group, it's gonna be hard to get into the OG group.
There you go.
When I went into high school, I had like my group of friends, and when I joined cheerleading, there were these 2 girls that were like together all the time, and even if one of them was apart and I was with the other one, or vice versa, it was never as like it was them two, you know what I mean? We were still really, really great friends, and we would say that we were best friends. But if it was those 2, that was it. Like nobody else like mattered. So I wouldn't take it too personally. It's just that if they had grown up together, from a young age, you just can't really weave in there as much as you want. I think you're in a good place being in the Snapchat group. I think that's a really good
Yeah.
place.
Well, I mean,
It's just
Make
Yeah.
that the go-to group.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said, and I also like want to add like another perspective, which is that if you're looking for something to be wrong with these people, like that you're being excluded, you're gonna find it. You already have a context in which you see everything. So if you see it on someone's phone, you're gonna be like, oh, so they're talking in this group chat without me. Maybe it was just on their phone. You don't know. It's just the context that you already have going to that group isn't probably the best. So maybe refocus into that you actually get to hang out with them. You do have a chat with them. So focus on what's actually happening and what's not.
You can't have anything, okay? You can't just have everything, all the chats.
I don't even have one chat.
I'm being so selfish. I'm just kidding.
You can't have all the chats.
You have all the chats. Jeez.
Yeah, and I just think like in life, like my dad used to say when he was helping me fix a toy, don't force it. Like if you had the pliers or the wrench or something and something just wasn't going, like don't force
Your
it.
metaphors tonight are on point.
I like it, right? And
let
so,
you know.
and I've kind of like, I was a wise child, and I kind of apply that to all of life. Like you can't force a sitch. Like you can show an interest, show people who you are, but you can't always be kind of saying, I need to be here. Like when you're here, just kind of like let the tide take you in, and it will. Because if you're awesome, which we can tell you are, you'll be in the chats that you're supposed to be in. Jabbar, you're looking at me with your wisdom face.
I love that.
He does have a wisdom
he
face,
does.
doesn't he?
I had a similar experience with this because I played football in high school, but I moved here. I moved to my high school when I was a sophomore, so it was kind of awkward. Everyone knew each other. They grew up with each other. So, of course, I fit in because that's my personality. I can fit in anywhere. But it was hard for me to, like, get invited to the parties and stuff at first and I was looking for that. I was looking to, like, get into every group chat and stuff, but I also was in theater, so I had other friends that were accepting of me and, like, willing to invite me to parties and stuff. So I kind of just like brushed that off. Like I brushed off the football team. Like I was on it, but I'm like, I'm not going to try to, I mean, I guess it depends on your personality because me, I was just like, all right, bye. I don't care. Anyways, I was like that. But I mean, I guess
you had other ways to float.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And so it's like always good to just be kind of versatile in terms of friends so that, because I mean, the theater kids were probably like very different than the football kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like, who wouldn't want to know a guy that's on the football team and also in theater? Like, that makes you the most interesting person in high school.
When I was in high school, those boys that were in theater and football were like the top dogs.
Yeah.
So theater's cool, yo. And
Yeah.
choir. My choir was awesome.
That's right. Who wants to read, class? Who wants to read?
KatieMichal does.
KatieMichal.
I
Read.
picked it up, guys. Okay,
Oh,
I'm back.
no.
This one, so depressing. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay, I've had depression for almost 3 years, but I have been clean from cutting for almost 2 years until today. I'm confused because it was such a good day, and literally nothing was wrong, but suddenly I just got the urge to cut again. Is that common with depression? ? I was going to talk to my doctor about upping my dosage, but I don't want to because my mom always sits in with me on my appointments and gets super pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Pissed off about it. Geez, that's a rough one. I don't think you should up your dosage. I think medication is not the way to go. Personally, that is my opinion. Obviously, some people definitely need it, but I think you should try to weigh off your medication with finding the joy and the love in life, because I think you just need to look at the glass half full instead of half empty. I'm not sure why, if you had such a good day, you decided that like you needed to cut. That's super, super sad and sucky.
It almost feels like she was sabotaging a good day, like she didn't deserve a good day, because I know that sometimes I can feel like, oh, what shoe's going to drop because everything's so awesome. And I don't know why humans do that. And I try to like look at a dog. Like dogs are so in the moment. They're not thinking about what just happened or what's about to happen. They're just in the moment. And I don't know. I do know that you might be kind of stuck in like a little bit of an OCD loop where it's sort of like a great day is a perfect time to ruin everything for yourself. And so I don't know about dosages and I don't know about psychiatrists or psychologists, but I certainly think that you should get to see him without your mom so that you can ask a question about why that happened, because that's the person that has the answer. And you're not alone. I do think that it happens to people with depression.
I don't like the fact that you said your mom gets pissed off about it. Your mom should be there to support you. Sorry, my voice is like gone, guys.
Raspy.
Yeah.
It's raspy. It's a sexy voice.
That cold and the coughing, it was just so bad. But I think you should have a talk with your mom and like just help her understand what's going on with you so she can be supportive. And then that's what I think is going to help, as well as like talking to the doctor without her there. But the fact that she's like upset with you and she is your mom and you're going in there, that's just not a good sign. So I think maybe you should also talk to your mom and try to get her to hop on your train to better yourself.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that you're scared because this is the first time in 2 years from what you're saying. And at the similar to what I said the last question, look at the bigger picture. It's the first time in 2 years. So you've had 670 something days without thinking about it. And one day, so versus those two put together, you're probably on the track to the still on recovery and still on the way, in my personal opinion, of being okay. If you have a lot of days in a row where you're thinking about it, maybe then consider talking to your doctor about upping the dosage. But like KatieMichal, my personal opinion is medication doesn't necessarily need to be altered in this situation.
Well, I think it could make it worse too.
Yeah, but I think that you can't, it's if you're already on medication and that's something that's helping you and maybe that's gotten you to this point, then that's obviously great. I think that if you are struggling with depression, then talking to somebody like a therapist or a counselor, on a regular basis just to check in is not a bad idea at all, because this is something that you shouldn't have to deal with yourself. I think that that's always a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I think if you can call your doctor and say, hey, can we set up a phone appointment? Or, if I come in with my mom, could I have a couple minutes just to talk with you without her? I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I think it could definitely help.
So I just want to make 2 points really quickly. One of them is that a lot of depression is situational. And if you have a mom that would get judgmental about the amount of the dosage that you may be taking, then maybe your mom is like the controlling type of mom that's kind of sort of prompting some of your depressions. Like sometimes depression can be situational. It can be based on your circumstances. When you're a child, you don't know what life is like outside of the orbit of your parents, because that's where you've been and that's all you know. But life does get better once you're making more of your own choices and there isn't somebody judging every movement that you make. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to medication, you are growing, you are changing, your hormones are at work, growing you into a woman, and you may not need more medication. You may need to shift to a different medication, and your psychologist is in charge of like the right balance between your personality and
and that's why telling them these things is really important, because if there is a shift, then you need to be communicating with whoever is prescribing you medication.
Right. And KatieMichal, you had something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, one of my friends, she doesn't have like depression at all, but anytime that she like feels a little sad or has something going on in her life, whether it's a boyfriend breakup or like she did bad on an audition, she goes to somebody and just talks about it, and then she just automatically feels better. I myself, on my worst days, I'll just sit myself down and think about like all the awesome things that like little things that I have in my life and I know other people have in their lives, and then think about how lucky I am to not have like a lot of bad things that are happening to other people in the world.
Perspective.
And really calm down to yourself and just be like, you know what, that sucks, but honestly, like that cookie I had today, fuego. You know what I mean? Like really the little things.
I think too, like wrapping up the question, I really do want to acknowledge you too, because from in the question, it doesn't say that you acted on the thought. It's just that you had the thoughts. So also for someone who's been not cutting for 2 years and then to have those thoughts and not to act on them, that is a milestone too, because you didn't act on them, and really like pat yourself on the back for that.
Yeah, I do think that Josh is correct. You need to give yourself a ton of credit for all the work you've done. And so
True.
relapsing a little bit it doesn't undo everything that you did. It just means, okay, well, let's take a look at that and let's address it and let's figure out what to do from here. And now we're going to go into the news a little bit. And this is something that Tara sent me. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to read the article, but did you? Mm-hmm. It's just pretty alarming. So what was discovered is that Marines, this is from CBS News, the Defense Department investigators found a widely used message board to share nude photos and explicit comments amongst Marines, and
about like fellow Marines.
And they kind of looked into it, and it's like going across various branches of the military, not just the Marines. It seems to be kind of widely circulating, and so a sample post was like someone would put up Julie, tell me if I have this right. Someone would put up a post of a girl that he knows, like from Snapchat, just a picture of her, and say something like, anyone got any wins of this one? A win is like her naked. So he's posting a picture of a girl and saying
about like fellow Marines that they all work with.
Yeah,
like
does anyone have any naked pictures of this girl we all know? And that's alarming and disturbing. And the question that I kind of wanted to pose to you guys is like, it's like who's in charge of or who has the ability to change culture for the better or to create a culture like this one? Because it feels like in the military, everyone's kind of like following a chain of command. So maybe the females that are in the military don't feel like they have the power to change the culture, because I know that this wouldn't be happening in the workplace and in a workplace that was non-military. So what is it that
it could though?
You feel like it could?
I
like
mean,
there
it
could
does
be a
like in
website?
high school. I mean, I think like the problem is that people like it's a loaded situation.
I don't know.
know, that's
maybe
why-
not. Maybe not in like. I feel yes, it
Do you know
could,
what I mean?
but not as
Like,
loosely and
explicit.
widespread,
Yeah.
and probably. I would assume that probably higher up people know about it, but choose not to do anything about it. Just just like to turn.
Does
the
it make
other
you
way
think of
because
high school though? It makes me
Do
think
you
of
guys-
guys sending around nudes in high
Do you guys
school.
remember
yeah,
the
it's
burn
like
book app?
that a little bit, but like
What?
bigger.
The burn book app? Do you
No,
guys?
I have no idea what you're
Oh,
talking
that was like really wide in San Diego. There was a burn book app where people would do the same thing. They'd post, does anyone have nudes of so and so, and people would literally post them, and that's like literally so similar. Yeah, it was going around high
Wow.
school, and like they had to go in and like shut down like a bunch of like people, like they had to call
Burn
them in, even though it was
app.
anonymous. They still somehow got people's like IP address and figured it out. But
Well, nothing's
Well, I mean,
anonymous in
that's
the world.
easy.
That's why.
yeah, I know,
But
but it's similar. It's
dang.
it's a similar thing. It was just in high schools. You literally chose what high school you were in, and that's how you
It's like
everything
Yik
was
Yak.
categorized. Yeah, exactly. It was just like Yik Yak, but
That's
everything
the problem
was
with
like-
these anonymous things is that they just it's
So
bad.
so my other
Well-
question is like, how much are guys doing and not telling us about? Like, how much goes on?
Why are you looking at me?
I mean,
I-
I'm sure it's none of
Because
us, but there's
I'm not judging your thoughts or your impulses or your yearnings or anything human. I'm just judging what actually goes on that you never tell us about.
a lot of guys are gross, but none of us.
No, none of you heard. But
I
you
think a lot of-
probably are privy to conversations where you're like, whoa.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so,
Especially in places where it's anonymous, you don't have to like tell anybody who you are. A lot of guys are a lot more explicit, if you know what I mean.
so who do we need? Who's going to solve the problem?
What do you
Guys who
think,
are
Jabbar?
good,
So
I'm
good
curious as to
guys?
what you think?
or do females? need to
okay,
be solved?
so the culture thing that you're talking about, it's
Yeah.
probably with the guys because the guys are the source of the issue.
Yeah.
So no matter how much the women want to impact this, it's really, in my opinion, has to come from the guys because we're the ones starting it and it's the source. Not all of us are part of this conversation, but the ones that aren't also aren't really stopping the ones that are. All it takes is the ones that aren't saying to the person in that conversation. So if I'm in a group of people that's saying something, I always say something. I'm like, can we talk about something else? Like, this is not probably the topic. But most guys won't say anything, even if they aren't comfortable with the conversation. They just let it go on. So it's really a conversation that has to shift within the culture of the male
It's
gender.
true. I agree with that. And the argument that I hear all guys say is that, well, you girls are the ones that are wearing the booty shorts and pushing up your boobs and all that stuff. I'm like, that may be. We have full right to do that, but it's your job not to like be all gross about it. Now, if that girl is like wanting you to be, then that's like her prerogative. But I think it's definitely comes from the guy, like,
a
okay, here's
respect
a
thing, too.
situation that's put in front of me. How do I react? You know what I mean?
So,
Because like
talking to the good guys in this room, like, what could you say? And I'm not judging you if you've been in a conversation and you haven't said anything, because I don't know if I would have, because it's really hard to be a guy. There's all this male energy that you're supposed to measure up to, and they're constantly judging each other. I know this, but what could a guy say moving forward to kind of let people know that this isn't on my watch, this is not going to be acceptable?
Just like Josh said, you just gotta say something in general. Just be like, hey, this isn't cool to be talking about. It's not okay to be doing. Like,
I think it really depends on your relationship to the guys that you're with
True.
too. Because like if it's my friends, I'll pretty much just say whatever they said to the girl, but like shift it back to them, and then they'll be like, oh, does that feel good? And then they'll be like, oh no, never mind, let's not do that. And so, but if it's a group of guys that I don't know, it'll probably be more like, hey, let's just switch the topic. Like, this isn't great.
In every situation where I feel like I'm personally nitpicking at somebody's clothing or if I'm just having a conversation about that, I'm like, I always think to myself, would I want that to happen to me? Mm-hmm. And I'm always like, for like instance, if some girl's picture was floating around, I wouldn't want that happening to me. So I would do my best to like cut that out. I mean, like my friends personally, I don't have friends that would ever do that. But like I said, it starts with the guys. Like, and I said this last week. Most of the times, the people who it doesn't involve with can stop it. So you need to start engaging in that conversation of preventing that from ever happening.
What about if every time someone asks for nudes of a girl, you just type, "That's my mom."
That's my sister, bro.
Hey, I mean, that's one way.
Because that seems like the only thing that would make a guy stop is if you kind of like say that's my sister or that's my mom. Like other than like, because sisters and moms are off limits, right? And other than that, it feels sad to me that
that'll stop them
you
in
know,
the moment,
the
but that won't
thing
stop
is
them
though,
from doing it in the future.
I know.
It's easy to objectify women just because there's just so much to like comment on. You know what I mean? But like with guys, there's not a lot of like. Am I making sense? Like a little bit. It's like super easy to sexualize like a woman than it is a man.
Well, I don't know. I feel like when it's a man that we girls are just like, oh my God.
Channing Tatum.
Like we're not necessarily thinking about sex, to be honest with you. We're just thinking about that we love this person. Like we don't go to a sexual thought immediately. Like just me? Okay.
No comment.
Nope. My mom's in the room. No comment. All right, Josh, would you read the question? We're going to go to the outside. It's the 50th anniversary of The Outsiders. Hopefully you guys have all read The
I
Outsiders.
had to read it for school. I didn't finish.
All right, but we're going to
it,
talk
being
about that
honest.
after we go to another question from
Okay.
Josh. Would you read that
Well,
next one?
every guy that I ever met in my life are all raging narcissistic jerks. Every guy that I meet hurts me. I'm so sick of always being the giver and never the receiver. Where the hell can I meet a guy who will actually give a
Just
damn
scream it.
about... Okay. Where the hell can I meet a guy who will actually give a damn about how I feel and not just use me for their own benefit?
You're in high school.
Say it,
You're
girl.
not going
Right,
to
yeah,
find
that's
it, dude. Like in high school, you might find somebody. Sorry, Sean. You might find Sean. Maybe you'll find Sean.
Oh my God.
Contact Sean on Instagram. Maybe you know that one.
Sean
But
Lusk
honestly,
official.
you're in high school. Of course, they're all going to be narcissistic jerks because they're all immature little boys that want to look cool in front of their friends that trying to get the girl. So you know what? You're just gonna have to. You're a girl, so you're automatically more mature, and you're just gonna have to wait like a little bit or search a little harder. But it's gonna take a second.
Well, I think too, it's a little bit like what you even said in here is I always give and I'm never the receiver. Stop giving. Like they expect you to give to them and they expect you to, that's what they're expecting from you. And so like if you don't do that, then you won't be attracting the narcissistic,
It's hard.
narcissistic
I know.
jerks.
I know. We need to learn how to pronounce the definition of
I have
our
Invisalign,
president.
so I have an excuse.
So what Josh was saying is that whatever basically energy we're putting out is what we're going to attract. And I know you're trying to attract guys, so you may be putting out all kinds of energy that attracts guys, but it's not the kind of energy that attracts really nice, decent guys like Josh, Jabbar, and Sean. So rather than giving, why don't you ask people what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and because that can lead to an interesting conversation with a person. What do you feel? How does that make you feel? And talk to the person and find out their interests and all that. And pretty soon the guy will be like, oh, she's not like that. She's not going to be taking our relationship in that direction. I need to treat her like a person. And, you know, that's what you expect and that's what you get. And Jabbar. And
I'm sure they all have this pattern to them that you can start picking up and saying, oh, this guy's exactly like this other guy. So maybe you should change the way your type is probably, or go for a different type of guy because clearly this one's not working.
True.
Right.
Well put.
And it's the people that you can have a thoughtful conversation with that will respect you the most. So before you give anything, and I'm not because I'm not going to try and read between the lines and get exactly what you were giving, but if someone's asking for pictures of you that doesn't really know you and don't give them.
I think it's more of like, oh, I want to be with you. I want to hold your hand. Let's be cute. That kind of giving and not getting anything back. So if they're having a conversation over text, it's probably like one word. It might be the whole sex route, but I think it's going to be the more emotional route. She's giving a lot of emotion, and he's not giving any back.
Right.
That's what I get out of it.
I say look for people that aren't in your high school or are in the same group of friends or same clique.
Look for Sean.
Right here.
So
Give Sean a call right now.
In high school, like you don't need to be focused on. Like you may not find that guy right now, and you should be okay with that.
Yeah, and you're right, Jilly. That is
No.
absolutely true. You yearn so much in high school. You yearn for it, but it's like kind of training your heart and your spirit to recognize it when to get broken. But I mean, look, we all have been through this, and so we all know what it feels like, and to yearn for something and feel like, oh, and you see so many girls on The Bachelor in the limo, having their limo cry. And saying like, well, everyone always just sees me as a friend, and like that's how you always feel until you find the love that you're supposed to have. So it's not that you're always going to be only seen as a friend. It's just that means you haven't found the right person yet. So don't get discouraged because the right person is waiting to know you. And now I'd like to talk about The Outsiders because it's the 50th anniversary.
I don't know what that is.
Outsiders.
I have no idea what that. Why do we always never watch the same thing?
They talked about it in high school.
We had to read it in high school, but I don't think I finished.
Okay, did you watch the
What?
movie?
There's a movie.
No.
Oh my
Isn't
God.
it
Just gonna stop talking.
Correctly,
So if am I having this conversation with anyone who's familiar with The Outsiders?
No, but I want to talk about it.
Is it about
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
All right. So in The Outsiders was written 50 years ago, and the author's name is S.E. Hinton. Now, she is a woman, but the reason she went with S.E. is because her publishers told her that boys won't read a book written by a girl. Well, by now, secret's out. Everybody knows she's a woman.
that's happened so many times though with people.
And her name is
Oh wait, this is the one where the person goes back in time, stuck in Ireland.
No.
What? Where did that come
That's
from?
Brigadoon. Totally different book.
Brigadoon. She got jokes.
I still don't know what we're talking
Outsiders
about.
is about the greasers, which are Pony Boy. So it's three boys who live alone.
Yeah.
Pony Boy, Soda Pop, Rob Lowe, right? Shirtless Rob Lowe, ladies. So
Oh, I remember my dad telling me about this.
Pony
now.
Boy, Soda Pop, and Derry,
Yeah.
and they're brothers, and they live in a house, and they on this side of town where they don't really have
They're
the best.
outsiders.
They're outsiders, right? And then there's the socias, which are short for social, and those are the kids that are fancy, and then there's like a big brawl. And then there's a fire, and Johnny gets caught, and then stuff happens.
Johnny!
Stay gold, Pony Boy.
No, Johnny!
Stay gold, Pony Boy.
Pony Boy.
Stay gold. Stay gold. Okay.
Got it.
So it's really a story about
totally remember.
people that feel like high school kids that feel like they don't belong or they don't fit in or isn't a place for them that's worthy in the world. And it's also, I think, one of the things that makes the book and the movie so memorable is that the boys do a lot of crying, and girls love that. They love when you guys just get all
super relatable and
weepy
vulnerable.
and like willing to like hug each other and be real and raw and everything. And so almost every school kid has to read
I
the
had to
Outside-
read it.
Okay. So how did you get through this without actually reading it?
Spark Notes.
Spark
Same.
Notes.
Spark Notes.
Spark Notes
Or
got me
Quizlet.
into college.
All
Sorry,
right.
Mom.
Well, since you haven't read it and we don't have a lot to discuss, I highly recommend that you watch the movie because this movie has.
I think any story that kids can relate to, because going through high school, you think you're alone in what you're feeling, and you think that you're the only one who's trying to figure out who they want to be and
Right.
doesn't feel like they can relate to the other people, and you think you're alone, but the reality is everybody feels that way.
I kind of
Right?
want to go watch it now because remember last week when we were talking about This Is Us and how I love when scenes are with guys and they're like vulnerable because that normally isn't the case in many situations. So this book is kind of interesting already.
It really is good. And also, if you've ever dreamed of like
Movie night?
Patrick Swayze being your big brother, you can totally live out that fantasy through this movie. So I highly recommend it.
Always wanted that.
Jabbar, would you read the next question from I'm 16?
Okay. I'm 16. I just got my first job at an ice cream place.
Good
I'm
job.
on my first shift. I was trained for 5 minutes by a girl who didn't really care and then just left. I wasn't taught to use the register, and I was the only person in the store when tons of people came in, and I started crying. I'm going to be disappointing a lot of people by quitting, but I've been having panic attacks, and I know that this environment isn't detrimental to my mental health. How soon is too soon to quit? Girl, if you don't quit.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, those type of jobs, people quit all the time. And if you're not getting the proper training and that's going to stress you out, no, get out of there. It's an ice cream job.
But
like,
can't
you can find another one.
Yeah, you can't just
Can't
ask.
you just go to somebody and say, hey, I don't think I received the proper training. Could you go over it with me?
But
No?
but also clearly the owner and the person who worked there doesn't care about their job or their business. Let it burn to hell. I will walk out of that
wasn't
store
the
and
owner.
let it burn.
Jabbar, it wasn't the owner. It was just another kid that worked there.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
owner
so you
obviously
can-
doesn't care
right.
if that one kid is just teaching her for 5 minutes and then walking
Talk to
away.
the manager about it,
That's
because
why, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's already, like, you already have had, like, your first time there is already a bad experience. If you found that job, you can find another
you should
one.
get that
I'm
person
not like
fired.
I'm not like a huge proponent of like quitting before you even try, but I've had jobs that are just like, oh my god, I don't like. It's not worth it. You can find it. There's hundreds of ice cream places. There's a lot of Chipotle's. You're not gonna like. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like a black X on your resume if you quit this one time
think
because
we
you had a one
disagree on
experience.
Me and Jilly 100%
I disagree.
disagree.
I mean, I disagree,
disagree.
only because
The
like
camo couch.
I think that
objects.
I think that I mean, unless you keep it off your resume, it will be a black X because it's your first job. So if you're gonna have to explain to them
Or don't
why you
put it
quit.
on there.
Yeah, that's why I said unless you keep it off. But otherwise, you're gonna have to explain why you quit, and then they're gonna ask, well, did you ask them for extra training? Did you ask the manager? Like, they're gonna ask questions, and you got hired. Honestly, though, even you keep it off, they're still gonna find it because they have your social security number. They check back. They do things that they will be able to see that you left it off a resume.
Yeah.
I
like,
would
it's
give it a
not-
fair shot. I would ask for some more training. People have horrible first days, always. Sometimes it takes people a long time to really like a job. And I think that you, for yourself, should like really give it a try, because this just seems like somebody didn't take the time to show you properly, and that's kind of on them. And if
That
you do
person
the
needs to get in
responsible
trouble.
thing, yeah, and say, listen, like, if you don't really care and you can get another job quickly, then like, I guess so. But for me personally, like, I would want to kind of prove to myself and to that person that like I'm gonna figure it out.
100%.
So Jilly has just said the thing that I think is more important than your record, which is show yourself that you can stick it out and do something difficult. Raise your hand if you've cried at work or at school. All right, come on. Everybody cries
Never?
at school. Right.
You've
Shut
never
up.
cried
I'm
at
way
school?
too hard to
but
cry.
This is also the kid that's gonna have a girlfriend and nobody's gonna know. So I'm actually not surprised.
All right, so Jabbar doesn't cry, but most of us have cried.
Sean hasn't either. I've just been pointing that out. He didn't raise his hand.
All right, see if you can make Sean
Way too
cry
hard for
before the
that.
end of the show.
Okay,
don't
I'll work
cry.
on it.
Just make fun of him. Just make
Okay.
fun of Sean. Oh my God, those shoes, Sean.
He
really?
stole my look.
Uh,
Not gonna cry.
So
gonna cry.
listen. After 2 weeks, if you hate everybody there and this is not the job for you, you can quit. But you got to give this job 2 weeks. And if you were a grown up, I would say you got to give it 6 months. But you're a kid, so I'm going to say 2 weeks. And you need to tell, like, even just call whoever hired you and just say, I didn't get training on the cash register. Everybody left. I'm sitting there with melting ice cream and no way to check people out. And I felt like I was playing Diner Dash and losing badly. And so
That's such a good game. I love that game. Wow.
so
That's a flashback.
But just know that everybody on their first day of work doesn't know what they're doing. And so whoever did that to you was having a bad day or something was going on in their life where they walked out on you, but that's not what was supposed to happen.
They are a horrible person.
and
Are a
so
horrible person.
and so or maybe something came up in their life that was like their dog is stuck in traffic and they ran out after their dog or something like that. But you have to stick it out and just say like, okay, wait, let me see if I can get someone to teach me this cash register, and then let me see what else I can learn. And then you'll all of a sudden it's like that's your place. Like I own this, I got this.
Yeah.
But don't give up that quickly. I know
Yeah.
you're saying it's bad for my mental health, but it's worse for your mental health to give up this easily.
Well,
Josh.
yeah, I completely agree with what you said. And to clarify, I didn't like, if you want to quit down the line, quit. My only thing is even if you quit, keep it on your resume, because I have friends and that have done a lot of training with me in my resume. If you keep something off, that actually is going to cause you to lose the job, because they will find out, and they do know. And most times they'll just be like, okay, so they lied on their resume. I'm not even going to bring them in. So unless you have a long list of work history, don't keep anything off, even if you quit on a negative term, because you want to be transparent and you want to be upfront about things.
I don't know. I've kept a. What job did I have?
But you have multiple jobs.
No,
though.
not for like normal jobs for acting, yeah, but not for like normal people job. I worked for a restaurant. When I first moved out here, I got a job at a restaurant. I was the hostess for 3 days. And the reason that I quit is because they didn't send me my schedule for the next week, so I didn't know if I was supposed to come in or not. And I emailed them. I didn't hear anything back. So I don't put that on my resume. It was 3 days. Bye.
KatieMichal. So
All right. All right.
Bye.
What do we got coming up? If somebody says that they have a crush on somebody else, but they always show up in front of you and try to get your attention, does that mean they have a crush on you?
Wait. Can you
Do we have to
reread
act
that
it
one
out?
more time? Because
slower.
honestly, it
Right,
got lost.
Act
Sean.
it out.
Yeah, let's act it out.
Okay.
All right.
If somebody
I say I have a crush on somebody else, but I'm always
Can you
showing
use names?
Yeah. Okay. So let's say I have a crush on Jabbar, but I'm always showing up in front of Sean and trying to get his attention. Does that mean I have a crush on Sean? Could be.
Or are you
Possible.
trying
Or
to get
are you
Very
just trying
possible.
to jealous?
Jealous
Are you
out.
trying to
Are you
get-
trying to jealous him right now?
I'm trying to make him jealous.
It could be all of the above. Not enough information.
Not
Yeah.
enough information.
We're
I
going
always
to have to circle
It's
back.
very possible. It's very possible.
anything's
Go
possible, but
ear.
I
You can have a crush on more than one person.
But do
Oh
you-
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
if
get
it's
a
just
lot of
crush.
questions like this, so I want to ask you guys a question about it. Do
Yeah.
you feel like people see what they want to see?
yeah, all
Yeah.
the time. For sure. Did you
100%.
know
What-
that you look 10 times prettier in the mirror than you do to everybody else in the room?
Thank
What?
you.
That's like a real mental thing.
That is
Oh,
terrifying.
great.
It's up.
Well,
it's opposite.
I mean,
So-
I was kind of.
You're welcome.
I
When
mean,
you
I-
think you look pretty. Just kidding.
Go ahead, Sean.
Horrible.
Oh,
I was kind of alluding to
Go ahead,
that earlier. Like, you're gonna find what you want to find. Like with that person who was looking at their friends' phones. Like, you're gonna see what you want to see. So
I think when it comes to love, I think you have to take someone's word for it. And if they're not willing to tell you that they like you, you have to assume that they don't. Especially if they know you like them.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah.
that person already knows, they know. It's the ball's in their court.
I mean, the next time they flirt with you, you can just be like, since you like Jabbar, why are you flirting with me? You can just call him on it, right, Jilly?
Yeah,
that's the right thing to
Actually,
do.
that would be
That would be
fuego.
That'd be beautiful.
And they'd be like,
Ooh,
We must be like interconnected or something.
that was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
dope. So I think that was a good answer.
I don't know if we answered it,
Question?
but I feel good about
Well,
it.
I mean, not enough information.
Not enough
you know what
information,
I'm
but I think we
saying?
answered that well for a little information we
Oh,
had.
for sure. A
Definitely.
little
I agree.
discussion.
Jilly, read the last question.
Okay,
please.
I don't know how to overcome the fear of being abandoned. I've been dating a guy for about 2 months now. We are 19 and we attend the same college, and it's going pretty great, but I can't help but overthink things or feel like he doesn't want me anymore. When I was little, my dad left, and my dad left me and my mom, and it was one of the hardest things I ever went through. Now I am always paranoid of losing people. What should I do?
Oof.
Don't.
So stay with that guy.
Well,
he
no,
hasn't
no,
done
no.
anything.
I think yes.
Is
I
there
mean,
any
sure.
reason? Yeah.
But I think also you have to, like, if you've identified that this is something that you look outwards for security and you're going to have fears of all of that, like, I think you need to work on yourself a little bit and make sure that you feel secure within yourself so that if a guy leaves you, then that's not
You're
going to
gonna be
break
good.
you. Like, obviously it's going to be hard if you really care about somebody, but if you can't provide yourself with a happiness and security and you're relying on somebody else for it, then you're always going
Yeah.
to be worried that it's going to be taken from you.
Well, I also
Yeah.
think there's also another step that you already did. You might not know is that you've identified that where this comes from, and now put that back in the past because this isn't happening again. This is a brand new person, a brand new situation, and this person is not your parents. So just relate to it as this person and in the relationship that you're in. Add what Jilly said, and then I think you're good.
Go out on your own dates. Like, take yourself out for a date and be that person that's
Like
like
what?
alone.
Like go
I know
sit
I
at a
do
cafe?
that. No, I swear I do this
Yeah?
all the time. Like I go to the beach by myself. I go get coffee and breakfast by myself. I go eat dinner by myself. Watch a movie by myself. Like not always my choice, but it has definitely like made me. I mean, I've always been comfortable being myself by myself, but I think like if you do that and be out in the world more and you know that thing like I need somebody to like feel comfortable like so I'm not awkward will go away for sure. So take yourself out on a date, treat yourself, girl.
Treat yourself.
Or guy.
I think one thing that happen, if kids kind of face abandonment, one of
Yeah,
the things that
it's rough.
kind of gets hardwired is like sort of the belief that maybe you caused it or that maybe you deserve it. And so I highly recommend that you see a therapist and talk about this, because you could be creating a self-fulfilling prophecy by clinging so tightly that you would push people away, and then you would repeat and repeat and repeat. And we don't want that. We want you to kind of like correct this problem right now so that you understand, like what KatieMichal was saying, that you are enough. You don't necessarily need a relationship. A relationship doesn't make you whole.
Mm-mm.
It enhances
Adds on.
it enhances who you
It's
already.
like a mole.
What?
It's more like a hat.
It's okay, like a hat. Yeah, I can see
like-
how that's better than a mole.
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was confused.
Right.
Well, you can remove a mole.
Yeah, with some surgical stuff, or you pulling it and you bleed.
Then you'd have to
Right,
put it in
right,
a
right,
jar
right.
by your bed.
So
and
yeah, a
like,
hat maybe is better. You
Yeah.
should stick to the metaphors. I'll just not try because apparently a relationship to me is like a mole. Yes, that's why I'm single.
So, yeah, you may want to just talk to a therapist about this, because I do feel like kids who were abandoned have this scar, and it's not you, and nothing that you did or nothing that you are caused your dad to leave. And so if this guy is not giving you any reason to doubt him, enjoy what you have, because if you're already living in fear of losing something, then you've already lost it.
Ooh,
I mean, maybe I didn't
profound.
say
That
that
was-
as beautifully as
that was
I will.
deep.
That was great.
I will embroider it on a
I'm
pillow.
gonna tweet that later.
I'm gonna Tumblr
hashtag
that.
retweet.
Like
that.
That should go on Tumblr, not Twitter.
And so like
Both.
It was deeper.
so
Deeper than Twitter.
Oh my
deeper
god.
than Twitter, yeah.
Tumblr
Yeah.
is
Tumblr.
not even a thing anymore.
Honestly.
I
It's
use
not?
Tumblr.
I don't. So KatieMichal said,
Since you said it, I'm just gonna delete my Tumblr.
Sean,
delete it.
Sean,
Yes.
since you do use Tumblr,
Yes.
you get to sing.
Okay. Oh, well, that I don't get the correlation,
Yeah,
but I
so
can sing. Yes.
There's none. It was just me doing a segue. And
That was a
Oh.
really good segue.
yeah. So while Sean is getting himself positioned, I will.
Another song. Let me
Rephrase
get my
my thought.
camera.
So if you've been given no reason to fear, then enjoy. Unless something becomes a real and present danger, it is not one.
Live with
I
Journals
guess
Out
is
Loud.
what I'm trying to say. And ladies and gentlemen,
We're actually still on the show right now. This is Jabbar
I'm gonna do a cover
Jilly?
this time.
and Sean
That's me.
and Josh
and Sean's gonna do a cover
and
right
Sarah
now.
and Weezy.
Take it away,
Okay,
Sean.
a
All
cover.
right, ready?
Skr, 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 skr.
Sweet pea, apple of my eye. I don't know when and I don't know why. 'Cause you're the only reason I keep on coming home. Sweet pea, what's all of this about? Don't get your way, and all you do is fuss and pout. 'Cause you're the only reason I keep on coming home. I'm like the rock of Gibraltar, never seen no falter, but the words just get in the way. Oh, I know I'm gonna crumble, I'm just trying to stay humble, but I never think before I say. Sweet pea, keeper of my soul. I know sometimes I'm out of control. You're the only reason I keep on coming. You're the only reason I keep on coming, yeah.
And that was this episode of Journals.
Sean Lusk, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.